10 signs of insecure male ego. This video potentially will be very triggering for a lot of men out there, because a lot of modern men don't want to acknowledge this. If you're a man, don't read this as a personal attack or intended humiliation, but rather as a self-assessment. Where do I stand in my relationship? Which points or signs need to be taken more in consideration and pay more attention? So this is an invitation for accountability, responsibility, and not shaming or blaming or guilt tripping. None of that. Let's start. Sign number 1. Man is uncomfortable with emotions and feelings. Now this might sound ridiculous to you, but stay with me. When a man is uncomfortable with his and other people's feelings and emotions, what typically he will ask his woman to do is to pay less attention to her feelings and emotions about what her man does, and more focus actually factually, to look for logic, facts, instead of her emotions and feelings. By doing this, a woman is being asked to rely more on the mental space, on the mind, and less on her heart, on her emotions, feelings, failing to recognize that women particularly are usually more sensitive, more feeling, emotion-oriented than mind-oriented. So asking her to live more in her mind and less in her heart, which, by the way, flips the polarity, and the woman is, in this case, being asked to be more like a man. The key here to understand is that women are highly responsive beings. You might ask, responsive to what? To everything around her. Environments, conditions, experiences, situations, people. If a woman is not feeling so good, it's a strong indication. It's her response to certain situation in which her certain needs are not being met. Now, if a man ignores this, he's uncomfortable with this, he's not attuned to his woman's concerns, emotions, how she feels, he is not providing for her a safe container. He is not providing a masculine containment. Instead, a man is more concerned with his own fragile ego, his own needs, and the woman is being left alone, asked to man up, be more like man, be more logical, follow man's logic, not your own inner emotional reality, which again flips the polarity. And in this case, woman is being also asked to hold man's insecure ego so he wouldn't be triggered. She shouldn't be upset right now, even if she feels like it. So this invalidates her own internal experience. When this dynamic is happening, a man is in his own boy energy, looking for his mom to tender his insecure and fragile ego, and woman is being asked to hold his ego. Instead of man providing containment for woman, woman is being indirectly or subtly asked to provide containment for man's fragile ego. No place for growth. Woman is asked to cover up for her man's ego, cover up for his traumas. In this case, a woman is not allowed to be fully herself, authentic, otherwise she's going to be punished for it. There's going to be severe consequences coming from an insecure man. And so she's repeating old childhood patterns of conditional love, where if she did certain things, only then she would be rewarded with love and affection. And this, again, invites more unconscious and subtle manipulation in the relationship, so that she could desperately meet her unmet needs one way or another. Okay, let's go to sign number 2. Being rigid, no adjustments, going with a plan no matter what, basically bulldozing over anything potentially suggesting any change will potentially be a trigger and will not be welcomed. Any critique will be perceived as a personal attack to self, to man's ability to lead, to be a man, to be a good leader. An insecure man could not bear an idea that someone else might have a better proposition, because that would trigger him to feel inferior to the other person's idea, better idea. So that needs to be covered, rejected, suppressed, to avoid this feeling of inferiority. Man would say something like, "You don't trust me, baby? I can't lead if you don't trust me." Words such as these imply that there has been, again, polarity flip. Man is not in his healthy masculine energy. In this case, it's conditional masculinity. He's asking his woman to trust him first, so that then he can lead. But it's other way around. As a man, you first need to earn the trust. Sign number 3. When a woman is not on board with a man's plan, man is getting defensive, he's getting reactive, instead of getting in tune with his woman's concerns and worries and deciding to accommodate them. Those men who are highly insecure, they might even perceive the situation when woman is not on board with him as strong disrespect. Sign number 4. A man is not willing to admit his own mistakes. Instead, he is putting blame on the others. Man has lack of accountability. And if man would be called out, he would often withdraw. He would find ways to punish people who do this, and also passive-aggressive behavior to get back to someone who tried to make him feel wrong and question his capability. Sign number 5. A man with insecure ego will do what he can to avoid any conflict with his woman, and will do what he can to please her so that she doesn't leave him. This is people-pleasing or nice guy. This type of energy coming from a man erodes respect, confidence that he can get shit done, and also trust. Again, when a man is in this type of energy, he's being in his boy energy, seeking to please his mommy so that mommy wouldn't abandon him, seeking validation, a need to prove himself. Sign number 6. This is pretty general, applies to both genders, but when man feels insecure about himself, often what he will try to do is to put down others, to feel less inferior and feel better about himself, to avoid the feeling of not feeling good enough. This is a compensation mechanism for the man with fragile ego. Sign number 7 is similar to the previous one, sign number 6, which is when a man's female partner shines, the man with insecure ego will feel inferior. He will shrink in her presence. That will trigger a lot of childhood insecurities and wounds within him. Sign number 8, the comparison trap. When a man's female partner will mention her exes or past experiences with other men, that will often trigger insecure man to feel inferior and not good enough in comparison to that other man or other experiences that she referred to. It's very uncomfortable to listen to this woman's past experiences. Sometimes that can trigger so much in him that he might even consider this, she's disgusting. Of course, she will feel rejected and not heard and seen, and the moment for emotional intimacy and connection will be broken completely, and she will fall back, and that will be a signal to her, okay, I cannot trust him to be vulnerable, open up and share these things from my past. Sign number 9. A man is overly dependent on his woman's guidance and advice, often seeking permission, asking what to do. Now, this is signaling a man's lack of confidence in his own abilities to get shit done without needing to ask. Again, this is being in his own boy energy, waiting for his mother's approval, asking for permission. The polarity is being flipped. Woman is more in her mother role, a man is more in the child's role, a woman is asked to step in more as a leader in masculine polarity and energy. Fucks up the attraction. The resentment and bitterness starts to build over time more and more. And woman starts to feel drained and even sick. When a man is highly dependent on his woman's advice or guidance, he will not be able to accept her praise. Like, it will be almost like blocked out and invisible, and no matter what she says or how often she says, like, man will not feel worthy of it. He will not be able to receive it because that doesn't resonate what's inside of his subconscious. When man is like this, he's in general more passive, and he's like a minion who needs to be told what to do, instead of being a proactive leader. Look around, notice things, and take charge of that. And the last one, sign number 10, is when a man with a fragile, insecure ego will try to prematurely put harsh, excessive boundaries to control or force his female partner into submission. And this will come as a result of emotional reaction. Often when this happens, men have the type of attitude of, if you don't accept my boundaries, you don't respect me. These type of punitive boundaries are tried to forced on when man with insecure ego tries to cover up his own insecurities, triggers and traumas. Basically a mechanism for suppression, so he doesn't have to deal with his pain, because different situations and relationships expose this always. And what insecure man often tries to do is to control his whole environment surrounding people. So it's almost like walking on eggshells. It's like, don't mention this, don't do that, so I don't get mirrored back what I need to see. Highly controlling environment, and very toxic and unpleasant. Insecure man will focus away from his own issues and focus more on the others. In this case, a man is trying to force a woman into compliance and respect him. But true respect cannot be forced. It is earned. And healthy boundaries are not set when you're emotionally reactive, but instead when you're in control of your emotions and you're calm. If the intention of our set boundaries is to try to fix or control the other, it will not work. It will trigger the resistance and, defensive mechanisms into the other party involved. When we try to set boundaries from this place of controlling and fixing the others, we often fail to see where we have power in this dynamic, in this situation, and where we have our own responsibility. If you as a man has to enforce such controlling mechanisms upon your partner, that to me signals that both of you were never compatible from the beginning. And now you try to mold her, bend her, force her into your will. What else that tells me that a man's selection process for a partner is pretty crappy. You see a lot that men today want to find some kind of guarantees, some kind of control mechanisms that they won't have to experience any more betrayals or pain that they have experienced in past with other women. So they are coming into this current latest relationship with past hurt projections, projecting the past unresolved and healed past onto the current partner. This is not a great place to be for the partner. You're projecting, basically you're implying that, well, other women are the same. All women are the same. And that also highlights how rigid the man is and not being able and present to what is actually in front of him. Instead, he's living through the lens of the past hurts still and fears. He's trying to be a leader and leading from the fear instead of love. And one of the strongest paradoxes that I want to really get you guys is that when an insecure man is leading from his past hurts, projecting past hurts onto present day relationship, man is not being present and fully attuned with his current partner, meaning he's not connected to her fully, he doesn't get her needs, her concerns, there is a lack of connection. And what the man tried to prevent by setting up these harsh boundaries, that woman would not look away from him and not try to seek her needs being met somewhere else. What these actually excessive boundaries are doing, this rigid control mechanism, is doing that, is doing the woman, is pushing her away because she's not getting her needs met and she's desperate. She's forced to find that somewhere else outside of the relationship. You see the paradox? Man tried to avoid that by excessive control mechanisms, but he's not meeting his woman where she is, what she needs. Instead of acknowledging his own input into like, hey, like I'm creating also this situation where she's responding to me in a not so warm, maybe a cold way. Instead of acknowledging that, man tries to forcefully control the other. So he doesn't have to change and acknowledge his pitfalls and his mistakes. You see and hear more and more online dating influencers giving you a very highly manipulative advice, both male and female. But in this case, I'm talking about the male. It's like, don't validate her. Yeah. Keep her ego down. Yeah. Which basically means keep her dry, not her needs fully met. So she's desperate and she keeps chasing you. And don't be available always, you know. Don't be too available can feel for many women who are also healing through relationships, relational traumas, as another occurrence of abandonment. So re-traumatizing. Yeah? Yeah, this can backfire hard. It's like you think that you're positioning yourself as a high value man, but instead what is happening, you're unwillingly pushing her slowly away. You're basically saying, stay with me and fight for some breadcrumbs, yeah? While her needs are not being fully met. And slowly over time, she will try to start to seek alternatives somewhere else where her needs are being fully met. Unless woman has very low self-worth and she's still staying in this masochistic dynamic. For a woman to feel safe, contained by the man, she needs to feel that her man is available when she needs him. Now we have come till the end of this video, and what I want to say in the end is that what these 10 signs that we covered today will mean for a woman is that she will be forced into more masculine polarity. She'll be forced to cover up for man's insecurities or willingness to address his own wounds, which fucks up the relationship. And yeah, basically polarity flip. Woman is being forced to step up more into the man's role, masculine role, the leadership, covering up for a man's insecure ego, and that will create more resentment, bitterness. Woman will be exhausted and definitely not happy. A woman will never feel safe with such insecure man. Rather, she will feel anxious. A very shit place to be in for a woman. Let me know, guys, which sign perhaps did I miss to mention among these 10 that you also noticed in your own life, your own experience. It's very valuable as well. I would like to hear from you. Please share, and I will see you in the next video.